I'm rising today to support the Driscoll Amendment because we want to make sure that if these bills are not designed to suppress votes, that they should be broadly construed to those that are doing everything right to exercise their right to vote. Now, this amendment, the Driscoll Amendment, would do the following. If your ID is lost or stolen or damaged prior to the election, and of course you are an eligible registered citizen, you are eligible to vote, you could go down to the Secretary of State and get your temporary ID, much like you would to replace that lost driver's license so you can continue to drive legally. And for the purposes of voting, that temporary ID would still count when you go to the polls. There's a reason to prefer this amendment than one that we will see later, because this amendment assumes that for those people that are doing everything right, we will not be creating a structural impediment where we require them to use the same temporary ID issued by the Secretary of State the next day when they go verify that their provisional ballot should count. If the temporary ID issued by the Secretary of State will count on Wednesday, to prove after the fact, it should count on Tuesday to make sure that you can actually have your vote counted and not create another inconvenience to voters. This is a simple amendment that allows a smart fix to a bill that would otherwise pass. I strongly encourage support of this amendment.
Thank you, Representative Hoadley. Question for the House, adoption of the amendment. Clerk will open the board. The amendment is not adopted.
For folks that haven't a chance to really dive into the logistics of this bill, what happens is it creates a significantly higher number of potential provisional ballots. And then there's 10 days in which afterwards you can go and have your ballot counted by showing up at your municipal voting place and showing proper identification. The problem is that it varies significantly across the state who has the hours in which those offices are open and the ability to access those places, which creates then an unequal treatment of various voters across the state. This raises significant equal protection issues. So the solution is in this amendment. What it would do is that it would create county clerks as a secondary place that you could go show your ID. The county clerks have more normal hours. They are centrally located across the state, so they provide a set of redundancy in this. If this amendment was adopted, it would deal with one of the equal protection issues. For folks that represent rural areas, this may be of particular concern to you. For other folks that deal with short staffing issues or potential issues related to recounts that may exist in their areas, creating a redundant system would be preferable. This amendment would do that, and I move adoption of my amendment.
Thank you, Representative Hoadley. The question for the House, adoption of the amendment. Clerk will open the board. The amendment is not adopted.